And we're live, and we are live. Welcome to episode 20 of sort of dog handler Q&A / talk. Hold on, the dog wants to leave all of a sudden. Standard. And episode 20 is the first one on a Friday. So normally you guys know that normally it's Wednesdays. Due to sort of shift changes and a change in my working pattern, I'm now doing it on a Friday. So what are you up to? What are you up to? So we are on our new schedule, and it's just going to be the same kind of thing. Got the mutt, wasn't it? So yeah, so here we are. This week has been sort of the first week working Monday to Thursday, 4 straight days, and to be fair, it's been reasonably decent. Moonshot, hi mate, how are you? Matthew Clark, hi. Matthew Clark, not heard that name. You might be new. Chip King, hi mate, how you doing? So yeah, this week's been the first week of working. What? Just why are you bringing this toy in now? It's over there. Sorry, I've got the dog faffing around me. So yeah, it's been my first week working 4 straight days, which a long week for me. It's strange because normally I work 3 days, or I've been working 3 days, a day off, and then my 4th day. But due to the football season finishing, I'm now just doing 4 straight days, and it does take. I don't think it takes getting used to, but working 4 straight 15-hour shifts has been better, I think, because I sort of get into a pattern and I've not got a day in the middle which disrupts the pattern of sleeping. So every day I get back and I know I've got that 5 hours to get some sleep, and then I'm out again. Where I'd have that for 3 days, and then the next day I would nice man, and then I'd have that for 3 days, and then I'd have a day off where I sleep until like 5, but then I need to do stuff with the girlfriend or the fiance or whatever. But then I haven't got work that night, so I still need to go to bed around midnight, 2 o'clock, try and sleep, and then that sort of messes it up. So it's actually been quite nice just to have my 4 days of right. This is the structure. I'm going to do my 15-hour shifts. I've got these 5 hours to have some sleep, etc. So I think so far so good. Matthew Clark, I'm new. I'm looking at training my Dutch Shepherd to be a canine security dog. Well, here is the perfect place if you've got any questions. This is the perfect place to ask. There'll be people in this live that'll be able to help you with some of the stuff. Moonshot, you should do my shifts. No, thank you. Talking of not doing people's shifts, we have had on my Discord, Matthew, if you want to as well, I will put a link in the description of this video. I'll do it now. So I've got a Discord app, which I'm going to do now. Yeah, Moonshot's just said about the Discord as well. So I will now put a link into my Discord in this video, so that you can jump on, and the Discord is a good place to ask these sorts of questions, and it's sort of an ongoing thing. And in the Discord this week, we had someone that had to use the dog to defend them, which was interesting. It was interesting to speak to them about kind of not what happened, but sort of the ongoing stuff they was going through with the site and how it got to that point. I know that like the night before there was a situation where he used the dog to sort of I don't really want to put words into what his mouth, but he was threatened and the dog made the person back down, and then like the following night he had an issue where he had to use the dog to defend him. There was no other way out of the situation, and it was quite interesting to kind of speak to him and talk about sort of what he was going through, and kind of just making sure afterwards that he was okay because it's still going on site. It's quite interesting to talk to him afterwards because it is quite a traumatic experience having to use your dog for sort of a live bite or to defend you. It's quite traumatic, and I think it was good with the Discord that we kind of spoke to him and he kind of told us about what he was going through, etc. as well. I think it's quite important that you have that kind of group around you where you can kind of check in on each other and make sure everyone's all okay, and make sure that hold on, let me just do this Discord thing so it's in there if anyone wants to right. So in the description of this video there's now a Discord link that you can use if you want to join our Discord app. But yeah, so as he says there, he's exhausted and burnt out, and it's having to use your dog to defend you is obviously a last resort. And I know this handler, and I know that he did exhaust everything that he could before having to do that. And he says he's exhausted and burnt out, and like I say, it's a very traumatic thing to have to do that. And I think, I mean, I haven't had to go through it myself, so I'm kind of sort of I'm sort of guessing what it feels like, but obviously speaking to him as well, is that you get such an adrenaline rush from everything that happens that you have to kind of calm yourself down. And if anyone's been through sort of situations where it's been high adrenaline and things like that, you know that afterwards you can feel very exhausted. But yeah, like I say, it was quite interesting to speak to him about how it led up to this happening, and even now that it's an ongoing thing. I mean, he's still got issues with the site now, and it doesn't seem to be backing down. What I'm hoping is that there's no sort of retaliation. It doesn't seem like there is that kind of thing, but whether the words got around and they're now kind of just hanging around to give him something to do or to be annoying to him. I'm hoping that's not the case, and hopefully it will calm down in the end. But yeah, it was interesting just to speak to him. Yeah, so as he says, and you feel like crap when it goes. And like I said, if everyone would have gone through an experience in their life where you get such a rush of adrenaline, because a lot of the time, from what I've heard, etc., is that when you do have to use the dog, sometimes it's such a instinctual thing, and sometimes you don't really see it happening. Now, I don't know whether he saw it going this far, but sometimes something can happen so quickly that you don't have a lot of time to react, and it's that burst of adrenaline. And then once you sort of settle down, and maybe once the police turn up and you get a chance just to relax, and obviously all the adrenaline goes out of your body, you can be very tired. What's the Discord? Matthew Clark, what's the Discord so I can add you? I can't find it, sorry. There is a link in the description below. The Discord, is it MWSYTC, as in Michael Wakley-Smith YouTube channel? But yeah, like I say, there is a link in the description. I've literally just put it in, so hopefully that's in there now. If you have any trouble, just let me know again. I've been told that my dogs are going to get shot and poisoned. Yeah, so there you go. There's a kind of retaliation, and that's one of the important parts about this job, is that when something happens, you have to be kind of on edge that there's going to be some form of retaliation. And as he said, they said that they're going to shoot or poison the dog. So probably just after that, you have to be careful of sort of meat or any food that's been left around, because they could have tablets in them, they could have nails in them, because there's always some form of retaliation. And no matter, I think this is sort of a society thing, is that no matter what you did in order to get yourself hurt, or whether you deserved it or not, there's always going to be someone that's just going to take your side and retaliate back. And it might not be, like I say, it could be 100% your fault, but there are always good. Wait. good, leave them. It could be 100% your fault, but there's always going to be someone in your corner that's going to want to retaliate and get something back on the person that did it to you, which is sort of part of this job. And I mean, I've always thought that if I had something like that happen to me, I would contemplate maybe changing site or maybe taking a little time off, because, like I say, it's very traumatic. I think moving site for maybe a week or 2 weeks or whatever it is, and just getting yourself out of there, because I'm not saying that I want to put another handler in that situation, but there's a good chance that they're going to target you as the dog handler. So possibly moving site for a week or two whilst everything calms down would be a chance for retaliation not to come back to you. Hoping that they wouldn't retaliate on another dog handler. I want to say I expect it not to happen. I'd expect it not to happen to another handler, but you can never guarantee it. But I think in order to kind of, especially if it's in a built-up community or a built-up area where a lot of people know each other, just getting you out of that situation is probably the best bet. Like I say, I don't know how companies work. There may be companies out there that, if they do have a live situation, that in their protocols they take the handler off that site for a period of time, just to let everything calm down, make sure that handler is not targeted by people that come later on. But yeah, where are we? Shot and poisoned, yeah, like I say. I'll tell you how I felt. I was shaking for 10 hours after, otherwise I would have got a battering if I didn't deploy my dog. Yeah, and that's something that he did say, that he felt and he got the impression that he was going to be attacked and he was going to be assaulted or whatever, GBH or whatever. He was going to be assaulted if he didn't deploy his dog. And that's why we say that you have to kind of use everything you can to get away from that situation. But there are times where there's no chance of you escaping. And like I say, you have to sometimes use a dog just to protect you. And like I say, I know this handler and we've been to training. I know that dog is good. And I know that dog doesn't mess around when it is in kind of the deployment. And I think what he was most proud of was the dog's out. So I know that once the offender had shown signs of giving up, he outed his dog, and his dog done very well with the out. So there's no chance of that kind of excessive force, because he managed to out the dog very quickly. I know that the police that were around him, they asked the hospitals to kind of report any dog bites, and no one went to a hospital regarding the dog bite, because I think they knew that the police were going to be looking for him. So that kind of tells you everything you need to know about the intentions of that person. And I think the person probably got the message that if they went, that they shouldn't have been there and they was the aggressor. So I think by them not going to the hospital for the dog bite, or them reporting the dog bite, I think tells you everything you need to know about this situation. They knew that they was in the wrong, and they got what they didn't think they was going to get. So like I say, this, everything that's kind of happened with this, it seems from the outside, obviously I wasn't there, it seems from the outside that this was a legitimate kind of situation in where the dog was used correctly, and like I say, he outed very quickly, etc. So I know he's had a bit of issues with kind of backup and that as well, which is not great, but hopefully that's going to kind of sort itself out. But I don't think we should comment on that. I just want to talk a little bit about that live bite from what I've heard, and just want to chat about that, because like I said, it's such a small part of the job, but when it happens, it's very, very important. But having the control on the dog to be able to out and not going through the excessive force and not being charged with excessive force is also a very important part, and something that he done very well. You done what you needed to do, buddy, and was a great defense bite. If you look on Discord in about an hour, I will put a picture up of poison meat. And that's something I think he did put up some pictures before of like some meat with some nails in it. Obviously, if you're walking around site and your dog goes and to take the chicken or whatever it is with the nails in it, that's obviously going to be harmful. And like I say, once something like that happens, or even to be fair, any time on site, there are people that are just going to try and poison the dog or going to throw meat over with nails just because they find it funny or whatever it is. Sometimes it's not even a retaliation. Sometimes they just do it just as something to do. And there's obviously some very, very strange people around. I'm off next week. I'm going to go and visit Moonshot. Craig, perhaps use a muzzle when patrolling just in case to stop dog picking up. See, I'm not a fan of patrolling a dog on a muzzle or working a dog on a muzzle, and that's where this part of the owning these dogs is that to get a balanced dog so that you can have your dog around people, that a lot of the protection stuff is on a command, because if you have your dog on a muzzle, yes, it may be able to stop them from picking up meat or whatever. But if you are taken by surprise and someone attacks you, you've now got to get the muzzle off the dog before you can then sort of deal with that person. So there's a good chance that you're going to have to kind of fight someone off whilst trying to unmuzzle your dog, with the dog wanting to help, and it could get into a bit of a situation. And I don't really know in terms of my dog. That there could be a case where if the dog feels muzzled, that it feels more threatened because the dog will realise that it hasn't got the use of its mouth if it was required. There is possibly a chance that your dog could be more reactive to members of the public or members of the people that work on the site. There is a possible chance that because the dog is muzzled, a bit like when my dog is in the cage. So when I get to work, obviously my dog's in the cage, and if people walk around the van, the dog kicks off. When people turn up in the morning, the dog kicks off in the van. And I think a lot of that is that because my dog knows he's caged, although he has sort of the van, he lets me know if people are walking around when he's in the van. I think because he's caged and he can't get to me, or he feels he can't get to me, he has that warning sign. And when I have him out of the van, even the other day, I was walking past one of the supervisors on site, and they said, "Oh, he's a lot quieter when he's out of the van." And the reason that he's probably quieter when he's out of the van is that he knows that if he needs to do anything, he's there to do it. Where when he's in the van, he kind of, whether he understands it or not, he kind of understands that he's in this cage and he's not able to get to me. Obviously, with the escape hatch, I can sort that out very quickly. But because he feels like he can't do the job to his best of his ability, he feels that he has to warn the person of that he is there and kind of send the message. So possibly trying to patrol and work a dog on a muzzle, the dog could possibly feel like it can't do its job to the best of the ability. Therefore, it has to give out a warning or a signal to someone that he is capable of doing what it is he is capable of doing. So, like I say, I think one of the big things for sort of probably patrolling on a muzzle, I mean, there's lots of people that probably do patrol their dogs on a muzzle. I probably wouldn't, because if you was suddenly attacked, like I say, you could have to fight someone off whilst trying to unmuzzle your dog whilst the dog is trying to help you with that person. But yeah, that's just my kind of theory on it. But every dog is different, and every handler is different. The guy went to put his hand in his pocket. I believe he had a weapon. Static guard on a building site a mile down the road got hit with a metal bar the night before by a group of males. So again, knowing sort of what's going on in your surrounding area can obviously give you by knowing what's going on around you can obviously give you some intel. So if, like he says, a static guard down the road was hit with a metal bar, knowing that when someone comes onto your site, you are automatically going to be more wary of that person. And like I say, there's kind of like the 6 foot rule, which is obviously my lead is 6 foot, so you just got to try and keep that 6 foot around you. Obviously, by the manual, you obviously need to try and keep a 6 foot past the dog's head before that person, so kind of 12 foot on someone. So a lot of it is just being wary and knowing what's going around you. I've kind of taken to sort of following the Kent police Twitter, because you never know when you could be going through Twitter and there might be something local to where you are, of some kind of assault or some burglaries or whatever it is. So sometimes being on Twitter and following like the Kent police or wherever you are, that can obviously give you some intel as well. Cage defense and separation, is that separation anxiety? I don't think my dog's so much separation anxiety. I do think it is a warning to people. There possibly are dogs that get a sort of a separation anxiety, but I think my dog is a lot of just a warning to people that he is there. Just remember, if you've got a muzzle on your dog and your dog is challenging someone, you've got to pull your dog back and take the muzzle off. You won't have time to do it, trust me. And like I say, that's the kind of theory I have. Just having to sort out unmuzzling your dog before dealing with someone is just an added extra and added time for them to make a decision. And obviously, if you are unmuzzling your dog, your attention's not on that person. So, but like I say, it's up to you what you want to do. That's just my views on it. How much does liability insurance cost roughly? Chip King, £350 plus. Craig, £330 per year, but can pay monthly. Briars differs with different insurance companies. Dogs trained to protect you. It's still separation. Okay. Well, I can see how you can put it down to separation anxiety. Here's an interesting one. A question that if anyone wants to try and put the answer down, or someone knows the answer, how many dogs? What is the maximum number of dogs you will be insured to patrol at one time? So let's say you've got a van with 3 dogs in it, and you're insured to patrol these dogs. What would be the maximum? What would be the maximum you would be able to patrol at one time? Put that in the chat. Let me know what you think the answer will be. Matt Byers, cheers, boys and girls. Yeah, like I say, from what I think it is sort of 300 plus, depending on what insurance company you go for, and probably what level of protection you want as well. So Matthew Clark, 1 dog at a time. Moonshot, 1 at each time. Moonshot unlimited. So yes, the correct answer: you will never be insured to patrol more than 1 dog at a time. So no matter how well your dogs are trained, no matter how obedient your dogs are, no matter what site it is, no matter if you have to leave no matter if you have to walk 2 miles away from the van and leave 2 dogs in the van, you will only ever be insured to patrol a dog at one time. So if you ever see a dog handler patrolling the site with 2 dogs, that is going to be against their insurance. So that is just something to keep wary of, and something that obviously you need to know. So I'll just briefly talk about what's been happening with YouTube channel. You've obviously seen the last two videos have been sort of the manual roulette. The reason for that is after the last live, my laptop broke. I actually use my fiance's laptop to do this because my laptop's quite old. But after the last live, my laptop broke and it can't be fixed. So I actually can't get a lot of sort of the historical videos I've kept on it. I've literally lost everything. So that's why the last couple of videos have been the manual roulette, because I can kind of film and upload them on my phone. And at the moment, I can't afford to get another laptop. So I've had like the van tax come through. The fiance got a nail in her tyre the other day, which is another 200 odd quid. I've got van insurance coming up this month, and I just don't have the money in order to get a new laptop. Now, I do have the fiance's laptop, but I don't have the same editing software, and I feel like I'm one of them people that grows an attachment to something, and when something kind of goes wrong, I find it not depressing, but I kind of not lose interest. I kind of lose a bit of interest, and obviously I don't want to do that with this channel. But I think because I've kind of lost my laptop, trying to do videos isn't the same, and I need the girlfriend or the fiance to give me quite a quick 101 about how to use her editing software. I'm just a little bit behind on videos. Now, I do have another manual roulette that can go out tomorrow. I'm hoping that I can actually edit a video tonight and have something a bit different for you tomorrow. But if it does end up being a manual roulette, it's not because I've run out of ideas. It's just a case that my laptop broke. I don't have the use of this laptop the same as my old one. I don't have the same editing software. And things like that. So there are going to be new videos coming. I've got I went training last week, so I've got some training videos. I think the video I want to get up tomorrow, which might just be like a raw video of me doing some agility training. So when I went training, I went into the agility room on my own, just set the camera up, and me and the dog just done some agility. So it's over a frame, over a jump, through a tunnel, over a seesaw. And I might just upload kind of like the raw footage of that, because in that video, it will show that my dog is not perfect at doing agility. He knows how to do it, but he's not perfect at it. And you'll probably see in the video as well that he starts off not interested, and I have to kind of get him invested in and interested into doing the agility work. And then there's some times where we do it good, there's some times where we do it bad. So maybe I think for tomorrow I'm going to try and get up like the raw video of that, and it's literally that's all the video is going to be, and you can kind of just watch maybe how I try and get the dog engaged to do the agility. At the end, I'll do a bit of a game with him where I'll kind of break off and I'll give him kind of a game to find some treats, etc. So maybe that's a way of maybe that's a video that I can get up. Moonshot, you don't have to name your dogs on insurance. Okay, so if you do have two or three dogs, you just have to have insurance to patrol a dog, because it doesn't matter what dog it is as long as it's only one dog. Chip King, one at a time. Yep. Moonshot, hit them likes, people, please. Yeah, if you like this video, make sure you get a thumbs up. It makes me feel happy, and it makes me know. I've said about this before. If I'm not someone that pleads for people to like and subscribe, I'll ask you to do it. It's up to you if you want to. But if you give me the thumbs up on videos, it makes me know that you like the ideas. It makes me know that maybe what I'm doing or the videos I'm doing, people are actually interested in. I do that. I go on that more than I go on views. So there's lots of videos where you get loads of views but not many likes, where I see other videos where there's not as many views but there's more likes. So to me, that says, well, more people are interested in this type of video, and more people are just clicking on this video because it's protection training or whatever it is. Chip King, go fund you pay. Moonshot, every dog can't be perfect 100% of the time. Yeah, like I say, with the agility room, it's a bit strange it's a bit strange with our agility room as well, because there are dogs that go in there before me. So a lot of the time when I go into the agility room, the first thing my dog does is have a sniff around everywhere because there's a dog just been in there. There is a little area where dogs actually have a wee. They all seem to have a little bit of a wee in one area, where they're just trying to scent on top of each other. But yeah, my dog knows how to do the agility, but sometimes he's like, yeah, I know what we're doing here. So I kind of have to kind of change stuff up, or like with the tunnel, he went to go down the tunnel and got stuck. So therefore, the next time I asked him to go down the tunnel, he's like, nah, I ain't doing that, because he got stuck the first time. So I then have to throw a treat down there. He runs through the tunnel and he comes out the other side, make a big fuss of him. And then the next time I say, right, through the tunnel, he's like, okay, here we go. So like I say, he's not perfect at it, but he knows how to do it all. And maybe just watching a bit of raw footage and that just being the video, maybe something that it'll give some people some ideas of something that they can do with their dog. If they're interested in doing a bit of agility, there's some possible things that you can set up. The one thing I haven't been able to get him to do yet is to jump through the high round hole. If I lay it down, I can get him to walk through it. But there's one where it's like, I don't know, how high is it? About 4 foot, and you have like the round hole. And I haven't been able to get him to jump through there because he just looks up at it and he's like, that's a bit higher. Right? And a lot of the time when I ask him to do it, he just runs around it. He's like, well, why would I jump up and through that hole when I can just walk around it? So I don't know whether that's just him saying I'm not doing it, or whether that's just him saying there's a much easier way round. Why am I not just doing that? Mr. Bryce, trying to get myself set up, mate. Got my badge in January. Congratulations. Adding everything up, dog, etc. NASDO. Adding everything up, dog, etc. NASDO currently a static guard. If it wasn't for you, mate, I wouldn't have a clue. Thank you for what you do. Thank you very much for the kind. Thank you very much for the kind words. I was speaking to someone the other day, and they was talking about putting a sleeve on and taking a bite off a dog on a sleeve for the first time, and how they kind of found that exhilarating, and they really enjoyed it, which is brilliant. And I said to him that I think one of the reasons that I kind of started this channel is that the first time I turned up to training, my trainer said, look, put the sleeve on, take a bite off the dog, because you need to understand what you're going to, if you have to deploy your dog, you need to understand what you're doing. And sometimes the only way that you can understand what you're doing to someone is by doing it yourself. A bit like the way the police get pepper sprayed or whatever. I don't think the police taser each other, but like where the police pepper spray each other. Only by being pepper sprayed yourself could you understand what you're doing when you pepper spray someone else. And I think one of the reasons I've done this channel is because I didn't really get a chance to watch a lot of this stuff. I mean, you can watch a lot of like the professional decoys and things like that, and like you obviously see like the sports dogs. I think because I never got a chance to research, or there was nowhere to really research kind of like working dogs or like security dogs, I absolutely crapped myself the first time the trainer sent his dog on to take a bite off the sleeve. Now, my trainer's dog's really good. I've actually got, from training last Friday, I've actually got some demonstrations of some stuff with that my trainer did. And he said to me that I can use it. So there's he just done a quick agility, a quick once around the agility. So I've actually, which I'll probably include in my agility video, is a quick demonstration from my trainer. But I've also got some demonstration with his dog off lead, doing some protection work, and a lot of that video is going to show and hopefully show to other people that just because you need a dog that can defend you and will bite someone if required, it doesn't mean that this dog can't be sociable. It doesn't mean that this dog has to want to try and rip everyone apart. So probably what I'll do is I will include the agility one with my trainer, just so you can see how his dog does it compared to mine. And then I will do a video at some point with my showing that footage of the trainer doing it, and just kind of like the control and how social the dog is. But just going back to what I was saying, because there was nowhere for me to really watch what kind of the information or like the videos I show you. I think because I hadn't got a chance to watch that at like a security dog level, I crapped myself the first time the dog come on to have a sleep, because I'd never seen it before, or I'd never seen a proper dog do it. And I think that's kind of why I do this channel, is to people that are interested, that want to get into security. They get to see certain stuff that maybe they'll go through at training. Like I'd never, before I turned up to training, I'd never watched someone do a training patrol, which is why on all of my videos from training, I'll always show you kind of like my patrol training, because you can see before you get there and kind of maybe have an idea of what's going to happen, or get an idea of what you're going to be asked to do. So when you first get to a training session and the trainer turns around and says, right, we're just going to do we're going to go out and do a patrol, see what your dog's like, you're going to have an understanding of what they're asking you to do. A lot of the videos you're going to see on YouTube, all the exciting stuff is all the protection work and the biting work and things like that. But when you turn up to training and they say, right, we're going to do a patrol, and now you have an idea of what that's going to be. And I think that's been one of the things I've tried to aim this channel at, is that people understanding what they're going to be asked to do when they go to training, or when you try and do your NASDO. Like the reteam video I've done is kind of showing you what you're going to be asked to do on your NASDO team certificate or your reteam. So yeah, it's like I say, it's just something that I feel like we've done well. I've tried to listen to everyone else. I've tried to help everyone as much as I can, and that's why the manual roulette is not going to get the views that protection training is ever going to get. But for people that are interested, it's probably more vital that you watch them videos and listen to sort of the manual roulette and understand what the page is saying. And that's why I try and explain a lot of the stuff. Now, the last one, I think it was to do with the food, wasn't it? The last one was to do with food, and a lot of people that own dogs will know a lot about obviously storing food, etc. And you'll have your own ways. But for some people, I was speaking to someone the other day, and the dog that they've just got in order to become a security dog handler is the first dog they've owned. Now, would that person know that storing food in a metal container or storing kibble in a metal container outside, would they know that in the change of temperature, the condensation is going to create problems for that food and could create mold or whatever it is? Now, some people may know that, some people won't. And that's why I have to that's why I've tried to throw a blanket over the whole audience and not treat everyone knowing what they as if they know everything. I think that's some of the problem that you get with, I don't want to say a lot of dog handlers, but I think a lot of the problem that some people have is that they're spoken to as if they should know it already. And I feel like when I first started, there was a lot of stuff that I didn't know. And I think the people that trained me and the people that took their time to talk to me, they never really treated me as if I should know everything. And I think it was pretty clear from the first day that I turned up that I didn't know everything. And that's why I asked lots of questions. And I think if you can be a handler, that someone can come and talk to and know that they're not going to be spoken to as if they should know it already, I feel like that's where you're going to get the best kind of relationships in terms of dog handler to dog handler. There are people that I probably wouldn't go. There are people I wouldn't ask questions to, because I know that they would then assume that I don't know what I'm doing. So why would I go and ask that person? Where there are people in the Discord group where I will openly ask a question. I can't remember what question I asked the other day, but I asked a question and they gave me the answer that was required. Now, because I trust in people, and I'm hoping that's what people kind of look at me for, is that I'm someone that they can ask a question to, and I'm not going to speak to them as if they're an idiot. Like, I understand that people don't know, and there are lots of, even like the manual regarding the space between your dog and an intruder. Now, I would not expect someone to know that it's 6 foot past the dog's head, but there'll be lots of people who would say, well, obviously you need to leave this a distance between you and the other person. But there are lots of people I've seen turn up to training that have just started, and they'll be out doing a patrol, and I've seen it before where the trainer was hiding round a corner, and the person come round the corner with their dog doing patrol training, and they walk straight up to the trainer. Now, because they knew the trainer and they knew the trainer wasn't going to hurt them or the dog, they just felt very comfortable going up and going straight up. Now, if that dog didn't know who the trainer was, would that dog just go up and bite? And I think a lot of it is that you have to train as if it's a real life situation, and being able to give yourself distance and making the other person come out from behind bushes or be around from corners, etc. Just knowing that you need to keep that distance, and it doesn't matter who it is. Like, my dog knows my trainer, but I would never just, when we're doing patrol training, I would never just walk straight up and let my dog go straight up to the trainer. I would always keep that 6 foot past the dog's head until the trainer throws the ball to let my dog know that the patrol's over, and then I can allow my dog to be a little bit more relaxed around him, because I know with my dog, with my trainer in that training situation, that when the trainer throws the ball to my dog, I know my dog then switches off to the dog in that training situation in that specific area. I've always said, if someone came onto my site and threw a ball for my dog, there's a pretty good chance my dog would ignore it. But if he didn't, I know that I could get my dog to forget about that ball straight back onto the person. So when people say, oh, well, if someone said to me, well, you just show that if someone walks onto a site, they could get your dog to switch off and not be attentive to that person. It's what you see in my training videos is my dog in a training situation. This is not my dog in a real life situation. And my dog is trained in order to do stuff in certain ways, but it's the same as you watching a professional footballer at training shooting. It's completely different to a real life situation. They don't act the same way. They don't have maybe the same aggression. Maybe they don't have the same desire to get the end result. In training, if they miss, all right, it doesn't really matter. In a match, their desire and their aggression to score the goal or whatever it is obviously going to be heightened. So never take what you see in my training videos as a weakness or as something that you can, if you're watching this video thinking, well, I could easily get around this dog by throwing a ball or giving the dog the ball, because that's a training situation. That is not a real life situation. My dog in that training situation with my trainer is not concerned that it's going to be attacked. Where if I'm on site and someone walks on, my dog is going to be more concerned about what that person's doing rather than what ball they've got in their hand. Right. That was quite a long monologue, and I think I went around about six different things. In. where was it? Most dogs struggle with tunnels. Yeah, the tunnel that we've got in the agility room is quite soft, and what he does a couple of times is, as he goes to go through it, it's kind of got rings so you can kind of fold it up. He kind of hits one ring and pushes it, and then it all scrunches up. So he ends up just getting muddled in it. With a long, stiff tunnel, I think he would be fine, but it's just a case of a few times he goes to walk through it and gets caught. And the tunnel starts folding up on him, and he's like, nope. Chip King, I love your channel. You're brilliant. Thank you. 100% buddy. I said this for years. Lyle taking a bite. Putting out some good content, bro. The Discord is a great family. Yeah, I think that's what I've tried to do with the Discord. Is I've tried to create kind of like a family. Now, I'm actually going to go through the Discord members, because I think there's a few people on there that haven't really been messaging, and I don't really know who they are. So I'm actually going to go through the Discord later tonight and maybe just throw a couple of people out, and then see if they complain, or see if someone messages me saying I've been thrown out. Because, like I say, I'm fully aware that there could be some people in there that are just in there to get a bit of intel. And I think I'm just going to go through and throw a few people out that I've never spoken to or I've never seen message, etc. Because I want it to be a safe place. And obviously, like I say, it's a great little family. And even, like I say, the other day with Chip King having to use his dog in a live bite, everyone rallied around him just to make sure he was okay. And like I say, it's very important that if you are a dog handler that goes through something that's very traumatic, just having some people around you that understand what you're going through. Now, it's very easy. Obviously, let's say I had to use my dog in a live bite, very traumatic, high adrenaline, etc. Being able to go home and speak to family members is nice, and like they can make sure you're okay, but it's not the same as being able to talk to people that fully understand what you've been through. So yeah, just having that Discord is a great little place for people just to rally around each other, and like I say, being able to talk to people that understand exactly what you're going through. Because even when you talk about working shifts, and that is, a lot of people don't actually understand what we do, and they don't understand the whole job. So being able to go on the Discord and speak to people that know exactly what you're going through, and even if you're maybe going through a hard time and you're obviously sitting on a shift on your own, and maybe you don't feel comfortable just sitting on a shift on your own, there's always going to be someone that's at work. So it doesn't matter if it's 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, you can always go on the Discord. And most of the time, I would say 90% of the time, there's going to be 1 or 2 people that are at work and will have a chat with you, and you can sort of start up a conversation. So it's just a nice place at 3 o'clock in the morning, if you're feeling a bit lonely, feeling a bit down, that you can just go on and have a chat with some people. And a lot of the time, it doesn't even have to be about dog handling. You can just have a quick chat about some other different bits. Now, in the Discord, there's obviously lots of categories where you can chat about certain subjects, but we obviously have like the main sort of hut chat where there's obviously like the main hut chat where you can just chat about anything, and send pictures through of you after you've just been working out and pumping iron and using your elastic bands, etc. Chip King, you're good and you'll make a good trainer one day. My dog will still go and get a stroke off him. Yeah, if that's regarding the patrol. Like I say, once my dog has done the patrol and the trainer has thrown him the ball, and my dog's sort of switched off to that training situation, my trainer can come up, stroke my dog, he can play a bit of tug with the dog, and he's perfectly fine. Like I say, what I was trying to say with that is that just don't get that confused with a real life sight situation, because my dog at sight is a completely different dog to my dog at training. Like when I'm at training, my dog doesn't really bark at other people, but if I get my dog out, like this morning, got my dog out when the supervisor was on site just to let the dog go for a wee, etc. And my dog reacts to him every time, and the hair on the back of his neck goes up, which never happens at training. So never get confused about my dog at training being the same as he is at sight. Where are we? A lot of dog handlers can be very arrogant. Yeah, I was told that when I first got into it, that you get a lot of dogs that are very arrogant. I think that's the training. I think that's the dog business itself. I don't think I've met or seen a video of a dog trainer that doesn't have some form of arrogancy about them. They have to give that as a dog trainer. It's as if they need to let you know that they know everything, which not every dog trainer is going to know everything. There's obviously some with lots of experience, but there's actually for some reason in my on my social media, there seems to be a dog trainer that keeps popping up on my algorithm, and I keep seeing his videos, and I don't know why, because I think he looks very arrogant. It looks as if he knows what he's talking about, but as a person, as a dog trainer, he doesn't give out the best persona to me. And I think that's, like I say, I think that's the dog. It's not just dog handlers. I think it's the dog industry itself, is that everyone seems to want to be a bit arrogant, etc. Moonshot dogs are good. My dogs aren't the best compared to many others, but they are how I want them. Yeah, I think that's, if you're talking about the same way in which I talk about my dog, in terms of protection, is not the best dog in the world. I'm never going to say that my dog is the most aggressive. I'm not saying that my dog left alone would be able to tear you limb from limb. But what my dog is good at is being a deterrent, is good at standoff, and if required, he will bite you. And I think a lot of that's the way in which I wanted him. Now, obviously, having a pet background coming into security probably helps, but as a lifestyle, and my fiance being able to take my dog to the park and having a walk around the park without fear of my dog wanting to nail every person or every kid. Now, there was a situation today. So I got up about 3:30, 4 o'clock today, had a shower, and then took the dog out for a walk. And I walked through the park, and in our park, there's, in the first sort of 50 yards or so, there's like climbing frame swings, and somewhere where a lot of adults take their kids just to have a play after school before they go home. And I was there walking up, and there's no way around it. You either go around the left or you go around the right. And the park's this little swing park basically in the middle. And I was walking up with the dog. All the kids were in the park, so I decided to go around to the right. So as I've moved around to the right, I saw a group of maybe 8 or 10 girls, probably between the ages of 8 and 11. And they all come out of the park to the same side that I was walking on. And my dog was on full length of the lead, 6 foot. So all I done is I shortened up the lead. I had my headphones in playing music, and I literally just walked past this group. Now, there would have been no issue with me stopping and all 8 or all 10 of them being able to say hello. But even with my headphones in, I could hear that they was quite high pitched. They was going, "Oh, look, this doggy, rah rah rah." It possibly wouldn't take a lot for my dog to be a bit overwhelmed by 8 to 10-year-old girls being high pitched around him for him to get a little bit stressed. So it was much easier for me just to shorten up the lead and just carry on walking with my headphones in, pretend like I know they don't want to say hello to the dog, because although I know he's going to be okay, it's just a situation that the dog doesn't need to be in. And like I say, if a couple of the girls are rubbing the dog's head and then one goes around the back and pulls his tail, all of a sudden the dog kicks off, and I've now got my dog kicking off in a group of 8 to 10-year-old girls. It's obviously going to look bad on me. So it's much easier for me just to be able to walk straight past them and say, hello, and just carry on walking. But like I say, that's just a theory in my mind of something that could happen. Now, I know that my fiance can just take my dog to the park and they can go for a nice walk, 2-hour walk, hour walk, whatever she wants to do. And I know that she's going to be okay. I know that if someone tries to nick the dog off her, the dog's going to protect her. But then I also know that my dog is not going to try and bite every person that he sees. And like I say, my dog is not the most aggressive dog, but if needed, he will do the job that he needs to do. And that's something very important. And I think when you say the dogs are how you want them, that's how I want my dog. I don't want my dog to be untrustworthy in public areas because I live in a public place. I don't want to have to be worried about every situation that goes out. I did have, so in my second floor neighbours, they have a dog, and the other day we was walking through the park, and we've let the dogs meet, and the dogs have been fine, and a lot of the times they lay down. We get them to lay down to each other, and they're perfectly fine. Now, we was out the other day, and we was walking through the park, and there was no other dogs, so I let my dog off the lead, and my dog was perfectly fine. And this possibly wasn't the best move from me, but my dog was absolutely fine. He ignored the other dog the whole time, and I let my dog off the lead, and he was perfectly fine. Now, my dog was coming back to me and kind of come round my neighbour with his dog, and his dog's just a little cavapoo or whatever it is, and his dog hit the end of the lead to jump up and say hello. Now, my dog then pinned his dog to the floor, and I think if you saw that from a distance, you would probably be quite worried. But because we was both there, I think we both understood that was my dog pinning the dog to say, "Don't jump up at me." Because when the dogs meet, his dog kind of jumps up and puts his paws all over my dog's head. And whilst my dog's on the lead and I'm there, my dog will just kind of accept it. He's like, yeah, okay. But when that happened with my dog off the lead, my dog then pinned the other dog and said, no, we don't do that around here. He didn't bite the dog. Like, there was no harm to the dog. So I just grabbed Coop by the neck and threw him away and said, right, you carry on. And he went off. And then that dog come forward again, and my dog pinned him. And like I say, if my dog wanted to hurt the other dog, very, very easily, but he never. It was just a pin for my dog to say, no, don't do that. And the reason that I don't let my dog off in the park with loads of other dogs about is that my dog will be very happy, but if he feels challenged, my dog will pin another dog. And from distance and with the wrong owner of the other dog, they could probably get very hysterical about it. And like I say, it was probably not the best move from me to let my dog off the lead, but it might have sorted out his dog's problem with jumping up at every dog. So hopefully, I'm not, like I say, the other dog's absolutely fine. I think after that, so here's a difference. Now, when our dogs used to be together, they would walk and the other dog would always want to say hello to my dog, or when they meet, his dog would always jump up and sort of paw around his head. After that, when we was outside talking, his dog was kind of sitting behind the owner. Like, my dog's still in front, his dog's now sitting behind. But what the important thing that I made sure is that after his dog got pinned, we made the dogs say hello and lay down together and just act as if it was normal. And I've spoken to him soon, and he said, look, my dog's still happy. There's no dog aggression to anyone else. So the dog's not got a negative reaction off of what happened, but the dog has kind of learned that it can't just jump up at other dogs. It can't just want to try and paw all of the other dogs. My dog's taught that dog that if you try and be the bigger dog, you're going to get pinned. So hopefully, like I say, that dog learned something, and like I say, he's still absolutely fine. I've seen him; he's perfectly fine. But yeah, that was possibly something wrong from me. I don't know, but like I say, it's all worked out well, and like I say, the owner still talks to me, so I'm sure we'll be fine. Isaac, hi mate, how you doing? Don't throw me out. I've only just joined. I think that was a Discord group. No, there's an account. Well, in the Discord group, there's 2 accounts with the same name, and I've never seen them message in. So I think they might be the ones that go. Niall Evans, can't wait to get advice, soap tips, and advice to help me on my journey that I'm just starting. I'm not arrogant. I'm open-minded about training. Yeah, I think that's the most important thing to be. Is you need to be open-minded to training, because every trainer has maybe something a little different that they do that maybe works, and maybe there's something that you can't get out of one dog that another trainer will just say, well, just try this, and it works. So you have to be open-minded about it. Oh, I've got the hiccups now. Moonshot, I've trained many pet dogs for the industry and balanced more than the trained protection dogs. Craig, my dog very similar. I don't know how handlers with teeth on a lead get through a day off without the dog driving them crazy. Yeah, like I say, and that's the most important part for me, because my dog is also my pet, and obviously I need to be able to invite my friends around. I need to be able to take the dog for a walk, etc. I want to be able to take my dog to the pub, go in the pub garden, and not be in constant fear that my dog's going to want to attack everyone that walks past him with a pint and things like that. The only issue I do have is that although my dog is balanced, and although my dog will put up with other people, I feel like my dog will put up with other people rather than like them. The only issue I do have is that there's probably only 3 or 4 people I could trust to come into my place when I'm not here, and my dog be perfectly fine with them. They're like, let's say my neighbours. I don't think I could ask my neighbour to come and take my dog for a walk, because getting through the door, I couldn't guarantee if my dog would protect the premises as such and treat him as someone breaking into our flat. But like my best mate, obviously my mum and dad, people like that, I know that I could get them to come in here and the dog will be fine, because he's used to them, he sees them quite a lot, etc. So that is the only issue I do have. And there's a good chance that maybe because he has seen my neighbour and he kind of knows my neighbour, there is a good chance that he may be able to get in to the flat and be okay with the dog. But I don't think I could guarantee it, and I would not want to put him in that situation where I couldn't guarantee that him coming into my place wouldn't end up well for him. If I'm here, then there'd be absolutely no problem. There might be when I first open the door, there might be some form of reaction, but as soon as I say no, we're okay, and I let him in, my dog will be perfectly fine. I can guarantee that he will be okay whilst he's here. Moonshot, pack etiquette, bad behaviour not allowed. Only dog people understand this fully. Yeah, like I say, when he, because this is his first dog as well, and I think I mean, it's very hard when that kind of thing happens to try and explain it to someone without it sounding like you're trying to make up an excuse for what your dog did. But yeah, the pack etiquette, like in every pack of wolves, there is obviously a hierarchy, etc. And it's quite possible that my dog in this flat sees himself as the pack leader of the dogs. So when so in terms of his dog and my dog sees him as the pack leader, and my dog won't accept his dog trying to take authority of him, and therefore that's why it's pinned. And I think that's why I say that if this happened to someone else's dog in the dog park and they didn't quite understand, it could all get very hysterical, and the dog could possibly be reported for whatever. And like I say, it takes dog people to understand, but definitely with sort of the larger dog breeds, is that you have to understand about the way in which large dogs fight. Now, my dog had exactly the same situation. So when my dog was probably 3 months, what's that, 12 weeks? No, probably between 12 and 20 weeks, whatever it is that dogs are finally allowed to go out to the park after their jabs, etc. I took my dog to the local park, and there was a group of dog walkers there. And my dog, like I say, he's only small because he's just got his jabs and he's allowed out, etc. And I let my dog off the lead with all the other dogs, and there was a black or brown Labrador that took offence to whatever it was that my dog was doing and growled and kind of chased my dog a little bit. So that was the Labrador putting his authority onto my dog to say, look, this is my park. And my dog learned a lesson then. So my dog then never challenged that Labrador until go forward 6 months. My dog's now as big as this Labrador. And they, through all that 6 months, they'd been down the park and they had been playing ball together. They was perfectly fine with each other. But it got to about 6 months when my dog decided that he was now big enough to take the authority figure of the park. And there wasn't a fight, but you could tell the shift that this Labrador that had growled at my dog when he was younger, that now when they played ball, my dog was king. So if they was running to the ball, my dog would crash into this Labrador, grab the ball, and the Labrador would just accept, okay, I'm not going to try and get that ball off you. Where when he was younger, if my dog tried to get the ball off the lab, that lab would have given my dog a warning that he is the king. Where later on, when my dog got bigger, a bit the same with lions. So you obviously have a lion that has its, I don't know, what do lions have? Is it a pack? It's not a pack. Pride. So you have a lion that has its pride. Now another lion comes in, and the existing lion can either fight and protect its pride and keep its land, or it can back down and walk off. So in terms of like the park, my dog will see himself down my local park as the king of the park, because he's got no reason to believe there is another dog that owns that park. So he will believe that that is his park. If challenged, he will put his authority on every dog, and it's up to that dog if it wants to challenge my dog or whether it wants to back down and say, yeah, okay, you can have this park, that's fine. So yeah, like I say, my dog went through the same thing of being put in its place when it first went to the park, the same way that my neighbour's dog has been kind of put in his place for jumping up to the end of the lead whilst my dog was off lead, and my dog seeing that as a challenge, and then my dog putting him in his place. That's the way I put it. Like I say, it's very hard. I think it's very hard when that happens to kind of, for me to try and explain it without it sounding like I'm just making an excuse up for my dog. I still don't think my dog should have pinned him, but that's what happened. That's the way in which my dog saw it. Matthew Clark, I can't find the Discord account. Sorry. Right, Matthew, if you've got Instagram, follow me on Instagram. Just search my name and follow me on Instagram. Send me a message, and I'll talk to you outside of this, and I'll get you on that Discord. Moonshot, balance is the key. Yeah, Moonshot, 100%. Niall Evans, he's giving the other dogs a correction for rude behaviour, and yeah. That's the way in which I see it. That's the way in which my neighbour saw it as well, which is obviously helpful that he didn't see it a different way. Moonshot, always research your breed before buying. Labs can be very territorial. Yeah. Especially males. Yeah. So like I say, my dog went through exactly the same thing. And because it's a Labrador, everyone will probably say, oh, like Labrador, it's perfectly fine. Like that dog wouldn't hurt. But the moment a German Shepherd does it, everyone's like, well, this dog's an absolute killer. Like my dog as a German Shepherd could act exactly the same way as a Labrador in terms of putting their authority down. But because my dog is a German Shepherd, they'll see it as a killer. Because it's a Labrador, they will see it as a non-threatening kind of authority stamping behavior. So like I say, you need to research your dogs, and like I say, just because two dogs do the same things, don't see a German Shepherd as a killer and a Labrador as cute. They're still the same. It's still exactly the same behavior, but maybe one's just a little bit more. It's just seen as a little bit more threatening. Right, that is 1 hour, coming up to an hour and 12. I want to leave it there. I think that's been a decent live. I think it's been good conversation the whole way through. We've got a few new people. Matthew Clark, like I say, find me on Instagram or Facebook. Just search my name. My name's the only one ever there. Follow me on there or add me on there, and I'll get you on the Discord, mate. Moonshot, every dog's capable of biting, of course it is. But yeah, I want to leave it there. I think that's been good. Friday, hopefully we may even branch out to a new batch or a new group of people by moving it to Fridays and Sundays or whatever it is. The best way in order to see when the next live is going to be is to be a subscriber, and then I always book it in advance, and then on the Discord I always put a notification in there to remind people as well. So yeah, I want to leave it there. I want to thank everyone that's been part of this live. I think it's been good. And as for now, make sure you look after yourselves, look after your dogs, keep learning, keep doing all the stuff you're meant to be doing. And I'll see you later on. Cheers for watching. See you later. Bye.